I'm Georgia and welcome to 2020. Today I'm going to be telling you about some of my musical Mondegreens. So for those of you who are confused, a Mondegreen is basically a misheard lyric, quote, phrase, whatever. You know, when people think that line in Our Lips Are Sealed is Alex the Seal. I mean, some of them legitimately make sense, but come on. The clue is in the title much. So today we're going to be looking at some lyrics from musicals that I mishear, or technically have misheard, because when I learn what the line really is, I can hear it correctly most of the time. And I'm sure there are plenty of other examples out there, ones that I've misheard but I don't know that I've misheard, or ones that I've misheard but I don't know what the actual lyric is. So we're not really counting those here. There's not really any way to explain why I hear what I hear, it's just something that happens. But none of them are like Alex the Seal, thankfully, and for the most part the songs still make complete sense. So I have 5 musicals that I mishear lyrics from. A couple of them I've only seen the film version as opposed to the stage version. One of the others I haven't even seen that, and one of the others isn't even a stage musical. The first one is from the song Giants in the Sky in Into the Woods. This is one of the ones where I haven't seen the show, I've only watched the movie. So my Mondegreen for this one is with the line "Not till the sky." And I always heard it as "look to the sky." So the next one's from Sound of Music, and I guess it's not specifically a Mondegreen. I mean, this was ages and ages and ages ago. But back when I was a kid, I always thought the line was "a lark who is sailing away," not "a lark who is learning to pray." Don't ask me why, I have no idea. The next one I have is from Camelot with the song "Before I Gaze at You Again." The actual lyric is "my manner poised and calm." I always thought it was paused and calm. So the next one is from Mary Poppins Returns. This is the one that's not a stage show. Now there's plenty of songs in plenty of shows that I don't know by heart, but for A Cover Is Not the Book, there was a line in Lynn's Little Rap that I misheard for a long time. Which is really weird considering that when I watch that song on YouTube, I'm usually watching the sing-along version. I heard the line as "this fool had to rule," whereas the actual line is "this fool had some rules." So even with the lyrics on screen, it took me a long time to get this one right. But don't worry, I know it all now. That's the only part of the song I know off by heart, but I know it now. It took me longer to learn all the lyrics to Story of Tonight, which is just sad. But that makes a perfect segue to Hamilton, and there are a lot in Hamilton. So in A Winter's Ball, Burr sings the line, "What's this obnoxious, arrogant, loudmouth bother?" So I definitely hear that now, since I've learned the correct lyric. I first heard it as "obnoxious, arrogant, loudmouth martyr." And then on that same song I have a bit of a, well, it's not a Mondegreen, but it's not quite a misunderstanding, but the line is "Hamilton still wants to fight, not right." And initially I always kind of heard that as right, not right. So the next one is in the reprise of Story of Tonight. They're all off celebrating Alexander's marriage when Burr walks in, and the line is "spin a verse, Burr." But I initially heard it as "you're the first, Burr." You know, he's the first one that turns up to say hi. See, it makes sense. So, as I said, even when you get the lyrics wrong, you're not confused. So my 4th Hamilton Mondegreen is from Cabinet Battle No. 1, and I still can't hear the correct lyric. With all the other ones, once I know what the correct lyric is, I can hear it correctly. But for this one, I cannot. I know what they're supposed to be saying, but I can't hear it. And that is the line, "we'll reconvene after a brief recess." What I heard at the beginning, and what I still hear to this day, is "we're going to reconvene after a brief recess." The next one is one of the first lyrics in Blow Us All Away. I always heard it as "the Skylers say I got the same virtuosity and brains as my pops." The actual lyric? "The scholars say." And then there's the room where it happens. And with this one, I don't know whether we'll ever truly be able to know what the correct lyric is, because there's not actually a lyric. Of course I am talking about all the chaotic screaming after the line, "Congress is fighting over where to put the Capitol." Don't lie, you heard it in your head as soon as I said that. But what did you hear? I know I'm not the only one that hears Toronto. I think, emphasis on think, that whatever that word is that somebody's screaming at that point is actually Florida. But as I said, these aren't actual lyrics, so we don't know. But I think it's meant to be Florida. And once I read that that's what a lot of other people hear, I can kind of hear it. So sometimes I hear Toronto, sometimes I hear Florida, and then a lot of times I hear this weird hybrid of both of them. So quite often I hear something that sounds kind of like Floronto or Toronda. And that's it for all the musical Mondegreens I'm going to be talking about today. As I said at the beginning, I'm sure I have plenty more of these. I just can't think of them right now. And I'm sure there are plenty more I will mishear in the future. So maybe there can be another one of these videos later on down the line. But for now, that's all I've got, and I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what are some of the musical lyrics you mishear, and what do you hear in that chaotic screaming bit in Room Where It Happens. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my video next week. So long, farewell!